Good evening, welcome along to Inside The Hive. It's Thursday night and we are live from Vicarage Road for the next hour. Got a great show on the way for you this evening. We're going to look back at the victory against Southampton last Sunday, of course. A cracking 3 points on the board from that one. We've got Adekite Fatuga-Dada on the show ahead of their match against London Lionesses on Sunday here at Vicarage Road. We've got a great vlog from the Junior Hornets who took the trip down to the South Coast at the weekend. We've got another 60-second challenge on the way for you, and we are joined by Hassane Kamara as well. As always, we want you to get involved with the show. You know how to do that by now. You've got the comments section below. If you're on YouTube, on Twitter, at Watford FC, and use the hashtag of Inside The Hive. Of course, normally we ask you to get your questions in for our studio guests, but we want to hear from you tonight on the show as well. We want to know what you're going to get up to in the international break. And of course, no game this weekend because Everton are involved in FA Cup action. So we've got a weekend off the next week or so. So let us know what you're going to be up to for that one. And also, we want to hear from you who you'd like to see as a guest on the show. Now, someone who's a regular on this show every single week. We can't do it without him. It's the one, the only, the legend is Mr. Tommy Mooney. How are you, Tommy?
Very good, thank you. Good evening.
How's your week been?
It's been a tiring week.
Yeah.
Very tiring week, yeah.
I was going to ask about DIY, but is that a touchy subject or is it all done now? Are we okay?
Decorators are not top of my favourite list, but it's all done. It was nice. My parents were happy with my decorating skills, which is always nice.
Good,
yeah.
Good. Of course, this week, no golf still yet?
No golf. I'm in a dilemma because I've got golf booked tomorrow, but I've also got a mini digger but coming to the sort out some of the landscaping. I mean,
are you going to drive the mini digger?
Well, I did keepy ups for a living. Anybody that does that is desperate to have a go at a mini digger.
Have you got a professional booked as well?
I have, yeah.
Oh, that's all right then.
No, there's a professional coming to do the job, but I just thought, maybe I could talk him into having a little go.
All day long.
I mean, it's digging a hole, isn't it?
Yeah.
How bad can it go?
Send your pictures in for next week, please. I want to see that. I want to see the results.
So that's my balance anyway. I've got
Nice.
to play golf, but I want to go in the digger.
And the good news is you've got a couple of weeks to recover as well from that, from obviously being on commentary duty. Where do you stand on this one? Obviously, a couple of weeks, no game this weekend, plus international break. Obviously, off the back of the Southampton win, which we're going to talk about shortly. Good thing, bad thing?
It's a much better thing when your last game is a win. And a good performance at Southampton. It's a long time to kill for everybody, for the supporters, for the players, for the staff. Obviously the guys that go away on internationals, they're busy and they're focused, and I suppose it takes their mind off everything that's going on in the Premier League. But for the ones that are left, it's a lot of days training with nothing really to look forward to at the end of the week. Match day, which is the most important day in every footballer's life. So yeah, it's a difficult time for some, but also the chance to shift your focus for others.
No, certainly. It's been a busy few weeks as well with games, hasn't it, really, since January. So good chance for some of those players to maybe catch your breath on that one as well. Let's talk about the victory at the weekend then. 3 points on the road at Southampton and good scoreline, but it could have been even more goals as well, which is a positive to take away. Yeah,
it could have been 4 or 5 by half time. I think it was just that final pass, taking care with whether it be the weight of pass or the direction of a pass, and we could have had more chances to score goals. So it was one of those where, personally, I was happy that the Southampton defence played like they did. I thought they were really poor, but we took advantage of certain situations, and for me, thoroughly deserved the 3 points.
Certainly, we're going to talk about it more after this because I think it's well worth us having a look back at the highlights from the victory.
Space here for Armstrong. Good start this for Southampton. That should have been a goal. Oh, now Fraser Forster took a chance. And Southampton have played their way into trouble here. Cucho Hernandez takes full advantage. Hernandez wants it, the back post. Kutska. It's Hernandez! And it's 2! João Pedro, a little flick for Sissoko, and could it get worse for Southampton? It's Kutska! Final minutes of normal time, the first 45. Flicked on by Adams, and they've got one back! Mohamed Al-Yunusi! Loser, and now Kutska. It's Juraj Kutska. Turned aside by Forster. It's Ward-Prowse, the roof of the net. Digs out the cross. Superb save from Foster. Shea Adams denied. Full time. A huge 3 points for Watford.
Well, great to get 3 points on the board at the weekend, especially going into this couple of weeks break now. Tommy, just watching those highlights back, obviously great to have the victory. Almost forgot about Samir's clearance off the line in the early kind of first couple of minutes of the game. That was a vital clearance.
Absolutely, it was. He was in the right place at the right time. He was doing his job of protecting the goal. It had gone past Ben, so without that, you don't take the momentum into the first goal. But I have to say, Cucho's both finishes for different reasons. His first goal, we see he goes around the keeper. First of all, chasing back it's almost João Pedro almost gets the first one. I mean, what Southampton are thinking of here, and then Cucho goes around him on his wrong foot. That's a tight angle. It's a really good finish, and he deserved his goal. Almost forgot where the Watford supporters were as he's celebrating. So it was one of those where we talk about it so often here. The harder you work, the luckier you get, and they've both followed in there. But almost both of them had an opportunity. And then the second goal, it's a fabulous ball from Cucho. And actually, this is a difficult finish because it's come through a group of players. He hasn't been able to see that all of the way. And the easiest finish is to go back to where it came from, to the keeper's right-hand side. But you can see here he keeps control of it, keeps the pace, doesn't try and lash at it, just gets a good contact on it and puts it, probably surprising the goalkeeper by putting it to his left. So 2 excellent finishes, and he worked it tirelessly on the day. He was very, very good.
Yeah, I was going to say that he gave 100%. Like, you could even see with his celebration how much it kind of meant to him. But that work rate was just incredibly important, I guess. When you're playing against a team like Southampton, where you said the defence wasn't on form, that work rate is even more vital because then you give them nowhere to hide.
It was, but the plan was good. The structure and strategy was good to the defensive unit, and the midfield 3 I thought were excellent. To just get Southampton to come inside all of the time. Each time they got in wide areas, they didn't have the players on the pitch to cross the ball until the second half when they brought Brozier on, and he's certainly a physical threat. I mean, he's built like a Range Rover, so if you put the ball in the box, there's a chance he's going to get his head on it. I just thought that defensively worked. Southampton ran out of ideas and they couldn't break our shape down. But Cucho in particular, when he plays in that wider area, he's got a job to do defensively. He did that, but his enthusiasm, I think, is what gets him on the end of chances. It was a great ball from Cucho for the second on his wrong foot. But then there was other chances in the game as well, and it was almost, you could see he was disappointed to come off because he wanted his hat-trick, but he was shot. His eyes were, you could tell they wanted the hat-trick, but knew his body was shot. He'd worked tirelessly for the team.
He certainly had. Well, let's hear from him now then. Here is his thoughts post-match.
For the whole team, obviously conceded just before half-time. How much does it tell us about the team, that we managed to hold on, and under that pressure at the end, everyone sort of worked together to maintain the win at the end?
Bueno, esto es la Premier League. Vas a sufrir siempre. Siempre así estés 2 goles por encima, vas a sufrir. Supimos sufrir. Creo que estuvimos muy juntos hoy. Estuvimos muy compactos, trabajando todos de la mano, y eso dio resultado a que hayamos ganado el partido.
Great to hear the thoughts of Cucho there after that one. Lots of notable performances in that game. We could speak about lots of players. Ben's save, I thought, was incredible in that game as well. But Moussa Sissoko, a real captain's performance from watching that game.
Absolutely, I thought he was terrific again. For so many times when he's wearing the armband, and prior to that, he gets all the things in the middle of the pitch, and he's got so much power. And you see weight of pass there for Cucho to go in on goal. Just a little bit of a heavy touch. He couldn't get the ball out of his feet. But like I mentioned earlier on, there would have been other chances if not for a good weight of pass. And you see Moussa's influence there. And then he's done this so many times, driving through. And once he gets up a head of steam, he wants to get forward. And I think with Imran Lousa in the team, it allows him to do that. He has a physical threat all over the pitch, but with good composure. Good from Samir there too, and then Moussa turning and setting up another attack. I think he's been a huge influence, and for me, over the course of the season, one of the most important parts of the team.
I was going to ask you about him as a captain as well, because obviously we had him in the show earlier on in the season, and incredible, great guest, but how important is it when you're in a position like we are now to have a captain of that calibre in and around the dressing room and on the pitch as well?
He influences the dressing room on the pitch and off the pitch, and that's the captain's job. Now, I seen that when shortly after Moussa was on the show, I was at the training ground and we were having a little discussion, and Emmanuel Dennis walked past and Moussa told him he was coming on the show. He was delighted to be on the show, as we know, but the captain suggested it's a good idea to come on the show, and that's every one of the successful dressing rooms that I've played in have had leaders in there. Some of them wear the armband, some of them don't, but you need leaders in there for positive results on the pitch.
You certainly do. Of course, Roy Hodgson would have been delighted to get that 3 points as well on the board, and here are his thoughts post-match.
His attitude was good, his work rate was good, he runs throughout the game and doesn't stop. I think that for us, in the time we have left at the club, we're going to have to keep working on his understanding of, what we expect positionally from him. But I think that's normal, and I think he wants that. So every moment we can get to work with him and discuss, when we've lost the ball, we'd like you in these positions, and when we've won the ball, we'd like you in these positions. That's a benefit. But the one thing he obviously does know how to do, he knows how to score when a chance comes his way. Because the goal against Arsenal and the second goal today were great goals, and the first goal, that's the guts, determination, resilience, desire that I'm afraid I talk about far too often.
Thoughts of Roy Hodgson there after the win against Southampton. Tommy, we obviously had Roy on earlier on in the season, and he's very much focused on the job in hand. That's where his 110% attention is on that job. Do we think we're starting to see that pay dividends now? You mentioned about the structure. I noticed from watching the game, as soon as Southampton lost the ball, Watford were in position. They were solid. They closed everything down.
We've seen that on a couple of the away performances, particularly West Ham and certainly at Villa Park. I think sometimes it's easier to do that away from home because you're not focusing your energy on the supporters, because obviously you've only got a small group in away games. And that structure defensively, even from the attacking players, they have a defensive role to play. And I think that helps. Interestingly for me, Roy's focused on one job. He's not thinking about next season. He's not thinking about anything else. He doesn't want to earn another contract. He's been brought in to do a job. And I think that focuses everybody within the training ground. And I think that will help. I'm hopeful that will help.
Do you think that's, from a player's perspective, when you see your manager that is just focused on the pitch and focused on the results, is that something that kind of is good for you as a player because you know they're not distracted by other things? Not that it is a distraction, the other things, but if you get what I'm trying to say.
I understand. Yes, I do. In short, yes. Each and every one of the players have always wanted to play in the Premier League. The new ones and the ones that are established Premier League players want to maintain their status as a Premier League player. So they need to give everything that they've got to do that, because no doubt it enhances everybody's career expectations if you're in the Premier League. And I think that the harder you work on the training ground, the more chance you've got to do that. And since Roy and Ray have come in, you can see the hard work that they've put in. The focus has shifted from just going out and playing and trying to win games to this is our strategy to win a game. And I think that's where we're seeing the rewards, certainly away from home.
Yeah, massively. So 3 points, going into this little bit of break, some big games on the way, teams around us coming up in the next few games as well. How important is that now to take those positives from those games? Obviously, Liverpool's a big one, but obviously after that, there are games that, pick up points in those, and the opportunity is very much within your control, effectively.
Yeah, but Anfield away, if you stick to the structure, you're going to frustrate Liverpool players, no matter how good those players are. The longer you frustrate them, the more chance you've got of winning the game. And those with a long memory know that it's been done before. It's possible. And after a positive, certainly, of the Southampton game, where I hope the players are disappointed they never scored 4 and 5 goals, because you can never settle, particularly in the Premier League. But as a professional footballer, you should never settle. You should always want more. And they should want to go to Liverpool in the next game and make Watford worldwide for winning a game, because that's what will happen if we win at Liverpool.
No, massively. Well, still plenty of points up for grabs. Now, Tommy had a great time on the South Coast, even though they got stuck in the car park at the end of the game. But also our Junior Hornets had a great day out, and let's see what they got up to.
Good morning and welcome to our Junior Hornets away day. I'm Meg, I'm the Club Support Liaison Officer, and I am here bright and early with our coaches just before we head off to Southampton.
Oh, you say, come on, you Horns! Come on, you Horns!
Hi Junior Hornets, it's Ben Foster here. I hope you are enjoying your Sunday morning journey down to Southampton. Looking forward to seeing you all there. Hopefully we can get 3 points and everybody has an absolutely belting day. See you soon, all the best.
Question number 2. Who is Watford women's captain? Question number 3. Congratulations to the cool kids in the back row. Phil will be awarding you your ball after the match. We have arrived safely in Southampton. We have all of the Junior Hornets just getting off the coach behind me.
You on!
You on! Come on, you on! Who'd you get?
Well, a great trip there for our Junior Hornets. They didn't get stuck at the car park at the end, Tommy, and they had a great day as well. But just a word on it, because you could see them in the stands. They had a great banner. It's the first trip they've done. I know they're planning to do a lot more as well, but it's the next generation of fans, and it's great to see. Absolutely, and the players passed their warm-up tops and then their shirts at the end of the game, and they were bathed in sunshine for 90 minutes as well. So they had a great day. And supporter, player, coach, you love the games when you win. And that feeling at the end of a game, and that's what will bring the younger players back. None of them have a clue who I am, but I'm sure their grandparents will tell them all about it. Well, to be fair, the quiz question was about Helen Ward and not you, so there we go. Don't forget, if you want a junior fan and you watch that and you now want to get involved, go to juniorhornets.watfordfc.com to sign up. Lots of great things on there. Chance to be a mascot, special events, those away days, and of course lots of giveaways and membership packs as well. juniorhornets.watfordfc.com. Now, of course, as we've mentioned, there's no game for the men's team this weekend due to the fact that Everton are in FA Cup action. But that doesn't mean you're not going to be able to get your Watford football fix, because coming up this Sunday here at Vicarage Road, the women are in action against the London Lionesses. So if you want to get yourself down to that, I'm going to tell you how you can do that very shortly. But before that, a little bit earlier on today, Adekite Fatuga-Dada came in to talk about the match. Adi, first of all, thank you so much for coming in to see us today. Let's just talk about the season first of all. We knew it was going to be a bit of a challenge, stepping up in leagues, but how have you found it?
It's been enjoyable still. You know, obviously the results haven't necessarily gone our way as much as we wanted them to, but I think it's been enjoyable to be in and around the girls. And at the training ground, training hard and doing what we do and what we love. So yeah, no, in that sense, it's been enjoyable.
We've mentioned it a couple of times when some of you have come in to talk about that. What are the main differences that you've experienced?
It's a step up in intensity for sure. I think obviously you've got teams in the league who are full time, and we're not at the moment. So that step up on a weekend is intense. But I think, you know, just the training load and, you know, everything that you have to do to keep on top of your game as much as possible. That's been the toughest aspect. But as a team, we've stuck together quite well. So I think, you know, even with that, you know, we've handled it quite well.
And I guess as well with you all being part-time as well, that adds extra pressure because a lot of players have got another job during the day and they've got to rehab. They'll play a game at a weekend and they've got to do some rehab, but they've got to be at work 9 o'clock the next morning.
Yeah, it's not easy at all. But I think, you know, a lot of us, to be fair, we had to do that last year. So we're quite used to it. It's just, like I said, the intensity of the games on the weekend that makes it that bit harder. But yeah, I think, you know, this year, hopefully we can stay in this league, and at that point we can then sort out everything else that we've learned from this season, and take it into next season and improve.
Talk about learning from this season. Whenever you face a challenge, personal or as a team, you obviously learn things about yourself. What have you learned about yourself this year so far?
I've learned a lot, to be fair. I've learned resilience a little bit. You know, there's times where things get hard, you know, be it in football or in life, and you have to kind of take it in your stride and use it to the best of your abilities to help yourself push on. So resilience has been a big one for me, and positivity, keeping positive even when things aren't going your way. I think that's a big one, and one that we've all had to learn as a team, to be fair. So that's probably the biggest thing.
You've got a great group of players.
Yeah.
Some experienced players, some younger players that are coming through, some new faces that came through in January as well. Just talk to us about that squad and the makeup of it and how it's all going.
It's a mix, you know. When you step up into a new league, you do kind of have to bring new players in, have to let some players go, unfortunately. But, you know, as long as you keep the core, which I think we've done quite well, and the group of girls get on together really well. You know, off the pitch we've gelled very, very well. On the pitch it just hasn't quite worked out for us yet. There's been times and been moments, but it hasn't on the whole worked out quite as well as we wanted it to. But I think if we, like I said, stay in this league and keep the group of girls that we have, and, you know, improve and strengthen in certain areas, then next season, you know, who knows where we'll be.
Next challenge this Sunday. Yes. Here at Vicarage Road again, which is amazing. Let's talk about the London City Lionesses first. Of course, played them earlier on in the season as well. Game potentially you could have got something from in the end, but you didn't. But just talk us through what are they going to be like for a challenge this weekend? They're
a tough team. They're one that you kind of don't know what you're going to get from them on the day, which makes it exciting, I guess, for the neutral. But for us, you know, we're very focused. We'll have our analysis sessions and we'll go through, you know, certain things and focus on kind of what we can do rather than what they can do to hurt us, what we can do to hurt them, and staying very disciplined. And yeah, I think, you know, it's just one of those games you kind of have to put your best foot forward, and I think we'll do that.
Obviously it's a home game, but it's a home game here at Vicarage Road. There's been a few games here so far. How have you found that experience and how have the team enjoyed it?
Yeah, we've enjoyed it massively. I think, you know, it's one of the best pitches in the Premier League, let alone in our league. So, you know, it's an enjoyable place to go to, and, you know, the supporters always fill it. And, you know, I think we're expecting the highest amount of attendance in this game. So, you know, I'm looking forward to it, and hopefully we can get a few fans down there that are, you know, excited to come and watch us, and hopefully, you know, get your tickets, come down and watch. I'll try and plug it as much as possible. But yeah, it'd be amazing to have so much support behind us. I think you could feel it in that Liverpool game when we scored that first goal. The crowd really lifted us to go and then score the second, and, you know, I feel like if there was maybe 10-20 minutes left on the end of that game, we maybe would have got an equaliser or a winner. So the fans are important, and hopefully we can fill it as much as we can.
And I think something that's very special as well about the women's game is the interaction that you get with the players at full time, something that you don't see in the Premier League. Tell us a little bit about what happens at full time and the interaction.
So we always, you know, we have our little huddle and team talk outside on the pitch, and then we go over to the fans and clap. And, you know, there's a lot of kids there who, you know, want autographs or want pictures and stuff. So we'll always make sure we go to the side and see them. And that's probably the highlight of the day, you know, after obviously the game and the result, if we do get it. That's a highlight, you know, seeing the next generation of girls and boys who do come to our matches and want to see us play and, you know, look up to us. So, you know, that's something that women's football in general, that's a very good thing on the whole.
How important do you think that interaction is for growing the sport? Because I think that seeing the women's game over the last few years has been incredible, seeing how much it's progressed in those last few years.
Yeah.
But that interaction's a key part of it, isn't it?
I think so, yeah, because, I mean, when I was growing up, if I could have met a footballer or, you know, gone and seen a football live, you know, doing what they do best, it gives you that bit of motivation to want to do it yourself, you know. So I think that's extremely important. And you know, if any young player wants to come and speak to any of us, you know, we're all more than happy to have the conversation and, you know, answer any questions that they do have.
Well, there we go. They better make sure they get themselves down here on
down
Sunday.
To Vicarage Road on Sunday, and we'll answer any questions that you may want.
Amazing. Thank you so much for coming in tonight. Really appreciate it.
Me.
And we'll let you go off and enjoy your training now.
Perfect. Thank you.
Great to have Adekite on with us a little bit earlier on this afternoon. Tommy, of course, you worked with Adi last year on Hive Live, and a fantastic player for the team. And obviously, when you look at her appearances and her stats as a player, you know, an incredible record as well. Technically, a very talented footballer, and she's so confident. Even speaking in the media, shows her confidence. And you see the appearances there. 103 appearances at such a young age is excellent, really, and you know, shows you what can happen if you stay at the club for a long time. Yeah, massive. She was talking about the group and the dressing room, obviously in a transitional year almost. You've done the whole promotion thing, and knowing that it can be tough when you go into a new league. How important is it having that team bond in that dressing room when you're going through that? It's massive, because the chances are you're going to have more tough times than good days. So you need that bond and the team spirit to stay together. You know, I was really lucky. We had back-to-back promotions, so we experienced 3 different divisions within 2 years. So it's only the strength and character within a dressing room, plus, like Adi says, the ones that you bring in and also the ones that you lose. It's how those interact with the core of players that are still there, and that's where you get your success. It's not just about playing, it's about recruitment and about how you manage players. Yeah, it certainly is. And of course, don't forget this Sunday then you can see the women in action. Get yourself down to Vicarage Road. We've got a great free ticket offer as part of the International Women's Day celebrations for all season ticket holders and Arsenal match ticket buyers as well. You can claim your free tickets at tickets.watfordfc.com. That kick-off is at 2 o'clock here at Vicarage Road as the Golden Girls take on the London City Lionesses. Also a little bit earlier on today then, I caught up with one of the shining stars from the January transfer signings who's been having a great impact on the first team. So here it is. I caught up with him a little bit earlier on. This is Hassane Kamara. Thank you so much for joining us on Inside the Hive today. Let's kick things off. You arrived in January. It's been a bit of a whirlwind so far. How would you describe your time here so far at Watford?
So I'm very happy to be here. Watford let me my chance to play in Premier League, and I'm happy for that.
Obviously, there's been lots of games since you've arrived here. How have you found that? Is it a case of play a game, bit of recovery, a little bit of training, and then go again? Have you had much time to relax and explore Watford?
No, I don't have time because the game is very, very difficult. I'm impressed because it's very intensive, and me, so I like run a lot. I run a lot, but when I play, I am shocked because the whole game is very difficult. You can play without Burnley, without Southampton, without Brighton, Manu. All the game is very difficult, and I like that because I can improve my game, my mentality, and it's good.
How have you found the physicality of the game? Because of course, you know, you've played in Europe and bits and pieces. How have you found that adapting to the physicalness of the game?
I try to know the game quickly, but in the game you don't have the time to rest. From the first to the 90 minutes, you run, and the result is difficult. So the game is it was hard.
Let's talk about you joining Watford, because of course I'm sure growing up for you it was a dream to play in the Premier League. How did the move come about?
Excuse me, I don't understand.
Yeah, no, for sure. So obviously, for you growing up, I guess a dream to play in the Premier League.
Yes.
How did the transfer happen? How did it come about for you to come to Watford from your previous club?
You want to know the difference?
Yeah, so the transfer deal, in the sense of, did you get a phone call from your agent saying there's a chance? How did it work?
In December, when my agent called me told me you can go to Watford. and for me it's very good thing. And I told him directly, yeah, I won't go help the team if it's possible. It's very good for me.
Growing up, did you always watch the Premier League? Did you have kind of any heroes and icons that you used to watch play that you dreamed of being like one day?
Yes, because I saw some game because I know it's the better league from the world, and with so many good players. And I saw Burnley because some player play with me in national team. Michael Kurn play here. So sometimes I look the game, and but when I lose the game, I don't know it's difficult like that. But yes, sometimes.
Obviously, one aspect of your game that we've seen is how athletic and how much you get up and down the pitch. You know, you've mentioned that physicality; it's non-stop. You know, forward and back. Has that always been a part of your game? That physicality and getting up and back. Is that always been something that you've tried to do as a player?
Yes, is that, but all the game, my winger or my right back is good player. So, and inside, the game is intensive, but the player good technically. So I try to go higher, but it's difficult because we defend a lot. But me, I prefer attack. I prefer attack. So when I can, I do that. But it's better to stay compact and don't take score. And I let the order for the striker or midfielder.
No, for sure. Let's talk about your teammates. Obviously, you've known them since January. Have you got any friends in the dressing room? Who have you got on well with since you've arrived?
But Moussa is for me is like a grandfather, because when I came here, he helped me for all things in the club and outside the club. And we are so many French people: Kayambe, Louza, Sarr, Kabasele, Sissoko. So it's easier for integration. But I speak with Dennis, Ken. I speak with all guys because I like to have a good relationship with the other. So we have good team, and it's good.
Obviously, Roy Hodgson is the manager now. I think he speaks French as well, doesn't he? Is he kind of had a chat with you in the native tongue? I think he speaks 5 languages, the manager.
Yeah. He speaks French very well. But I try to learn English, and when he speaks English, I understand. So with him, sometimes we speak French, but I try to speak English because it's important.
And how much you enjoy working with Roy?
But we work well, and we have to find IG defensively, offensively, and now we have to believe and listen to him and go forward.
Let's talk about international football. Of course, obviously you made your debut for the Ivory Coast last year. Exciting news today. You're going to be off with the squad. I think it's Monday you'll head off with them, playing against England in those kind of international fixtures as well. What does it mean to you to play for your country?
I'm proud for that. My family is proud, and I can continue my career with this good opportunity. And now we will play against France and England, 2 big teams, and is opportunity to play well and show at the world our team.
Obviously, you mentioned the Premier League is very tough and it's very physical. How does that compare to international football when you play for the Ivory Coast?
It's different. Here, for me, is intensive. But in international cup, national team is very physically. The player who play in Africa very strong. Is different, and the weather is too hot. It's not the same condition. It's not the same pitch. It's not the same game. But I won't see the game against England because we have strong team, and I think England is good team. I won't see what's happened in the game.
Well, we wish you all the best when you head off for international duty.
You for Ivory Coast?
Well, I guess I would support England, but for you, I'll get behind you for a game. It's all right. I'll go get a shirt from somewhere and I'll support you.
You put Ivory shirt.
Yeah.
And after England, if we score, you.
I'll do that. Okay. you got a deal. I'll do it. Let's turn our attention back to Watford. Obviously, for you defensively as a player, Ray Lewington as one of the coaches and Roy as well. They're very good at defensive coaching. It's one of the, you could almost say that defensive coaching wise, there's not many coaches in the game that would be better with that defensive style of football. How are you finding that the coaching is helping your game here at Watford?
He helped us for the IG. You know, the team, all players know what we have to do. And in the pitch, but sometimes it's difficult. We take goal, but we know when we have to go, when we have to do a cross, when we have to block a cross. And at the training every day, he explained us some detail for play well and defend well. And I think it's better because if we are solid. Defensively, we can after that attack.
Let's talk about the Southampton game at the weekend. How important was it to win going into the break that we have now?
Yes, but for the head, for confidence. Now we know we need confidence because we don't win a lot and we have a very important game after the break. So this win is very, very good for confidence, and we will keep that for the other game.
Do you almost wish that the next game was sooner? Because obviously it's a couple of weeks break now. Do you almost wish you were playing that next game this weekend?
Liverpool?
Yeah, so the next game you've got, because obviously you've won the last one, do you kind of want that next game sooner rather than having to wait a couple of weeks till the next game? Because you say the confidence is high. Would you rather get stuck in and go and play that next game straight away, or?
Yeah, but you know, away we better. I think the five last game, two won, 2 draw and 1 lose. So away we are better. So we have to keep that. And for the next game, we have to try all things for take 1 point or 3 points. I know it will be difficult, but we have to try. It's football. We don't know what can happen.
Full time against Southampton. Obviously, everyone's back in the dressing room. What was the atmosphere like? Was it a bit of a party after that? And what did Roy have to say to you guys? Obviously, picking up that 3 points is really important. What was the team talk at the end of the game like on the weekend?
We are too happy because the confidence is difficult, and now we do 2 goals. We take 3 points against a team who play 10 first place. It's very good, and all players is happy. But we know for staying in Premier League we have to do more. But we're happy.
Yeah, awesome. Let's turn to life away from football. Hobbies, interests, family. What do you like to do in your downtime when you're not playing football or not training?
I rest a lot because I am tired. I think after 4 or 5 games, it easier, but no. So after a game, I do nothing. I watch series, I watch a movie, but I rest a little bit. I have cat. I stay with my cat, Simba. So just that.
Yeah, and have you got any friends or players that have helped you settle in away from the game? You know, obviously you mentioned, you know, Moussa's been great around the team, but outside of the game, have you been able to socialise and relax with some of the players as well?
Yes, sometime with Luza, or with Moussa. I go in house of Imran or Moussa. We spend good time. We play a card. We look a match sometimes.
Nice. Let's talk about your ambitions. Obviously, for the team this year, it's to stay in the Premier League. But you personally, what are your goals within football? Was there things you'd like to achieve within the game?
Me, my goals is this year or for.
We can do both. We can do this year. We can do the future as well.
No, me, I am ambition man, and I want to go higher possible. For be professional, it's difficult because when I was young, the manager don't trust me, and when I signed my first contract, professional contract, I play in the start after 5-6 years. But I know my quality. I know what I have to improve, and I want go higher possible. I don't have limit.
Nice.
But for that, I have to play well. So I try to play well.
Well, you're certainly doing that so far here at Watford. Let's talk about the fans. The atmosphere at St Mary's with the Watford fans was really incredible last weekend. And obviously here at Vicarage Road as well, it's a very special atmosphere with the fans. What have you made of the supporters so far since you've been here?
I'm impressed. Yeah, when we play away, the fan shout a lot. It's very good, and the player can listen the fan during the game, and it's very good for the team. And at home, I think the team we have to I don't know. I looking for one word. The team have to bring the fan with us, you understand? We have to bring the fan with us because we lose a lot and we take a lot of score. We don't put a lot of score. I think if we have to win just one game, we will bring the fan at home, and if we try that, it's very good for the team because when you play with the fan, is very amazing and is easier to win the game.
No, certainly the fans are incredibly important here at Watford. And talking to the fans, I've got some questions that have come in from the fans for you. So we'll go first. We've got Cristiano, who would like to know, who is the funniest player in the dressing room?
The funny?
Yeah, who's the funniest? Is there a joker of the dressing room?
It's me. Huh? Dennis.
Okay.
It's Dennis, I think so.
Nice. Next question goes, how do wingers in Liga, obviously the likes of Di Maria, Neymar and Bamba, compare to those in the Premier League? So if you're comparing the wingers, obviously, that you defend against in Liga and the Premier League, what's the difference between those style of players?
Between the stars and the player here?
Yeah.
It's not the same league, it's not the same game. It's difficult to compare, but here, every game, sometimes I don't know the winger against who play, but every player is very good, very quick, smart, technical, and I'm impressed. But Neymar,
nice.
When Neymar is in his confidence, is not possible.
Next question comes from Ben. Who is the best player that you've ever played against?
Neymar.
Neymar.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. What was it about him that makes him so good?
You can when he is in confidence, he plays everywhere in the pitch, and he can score, he can dribble, he can pass, good pass, and he has fit, so it's very difficult to play against him.
Nice.
Yes.
Final question comes from Harry, and Harry would like to know, what's your favourite thing about Watford so far?
My favourite thing in the club?
Yeah.
My favourite team, my first game.
Okay.
Against Newcastle.
Nice.
Very big stadium, and the atmosphere, I think, is my favourite thing.
Nice. Hassan, thank you so much for coming in today.
Welcome.
Really appreciate it. Best of luck on international duty. And I'll have the Ivory Coast shirt underneath, right? We'll sort me out later on. I'll get one. I'll wear one for you. Best of luck, and thank you so much for coming in.
Welcome.
Cheers. Thank you. Well, there we go. As you can see, Hassane Kamara thoroughly enjoyed himself there. Couldn't wait to get out of his seat on Inside the Hive. But all joking aside, great to have him on the show. And Tommy, his performances so far this season, since he's arrived, he's been one of the standouts since he arrived.
I was going to get up and leave there, but I'll leave it for another show. He's been great. He really has. He's been a breath of fresh air. When things weren't particularly going too well, he's come in and his energy and enthusiasm. I mean, you can see the way he plays with a smile on his face. I mean, he could really hurt himself if he does that too many times. But he makes those tackles, but he gets forward. He's organising. You can see from the clips there, and that's a great way to pass to set up an opportunity to score. And if Josh had worked a little bit more on his left foot, that's a good chance to score at Villa Park too. But he's playing against players that he's only seen on TV, coming from Nice, who were having a particularly good season. It's not like he was in a poor team in France, you know. So he's come in with that. He's almost used to winning games, and he's come in and brought that, what it takes, that exuberance to go out and give everything that you've got and leave it on the pitch. And he's done that. There was times when he first came in and he's making overlaps, and I'm thinking your lungs are going to fall out of your chest if you carry on that. But he's learnt when he can and when he can't. And when it is time to do it, you give everything that you've got to do so. But he's just that character, and you can see in times in the game he's going round and he'll go from his left back spot to the right wing spot to speak to Cucho, because he wants to pass on what his thoughts are in the game. And you know, those are the characters that you need to either get you out of trouble or make you a success.
And that's it. Obviously having Roy and Ray at the club as well, with their defensive mindset when it comes to coaching and bits and pieces as well, that's going to help you better as well, especially when you look at Samir coming in as well. You know, having that defensive structure, and we've mentioned it before, the setup, that's only going to help him as well.
Samir in particular, that just gives you the balance. You've got two left footers on the left hand side of the pitch. It's not rocket science, but when he comes in, he talks about how much he likes to attack. Well, what he's got at the moment with Roy and Ray is that structure of defending, which will arguably make him a better left back. Perhaps he's played more at wing back, where you know your main ethic in your role in the team is to get forward and get crosses in. Or certainly in France, probably they look for a little diverted pass into the strikers as opposed to a cross aerially. But he's learning the defensive side of the game. And when we go away from home, that shape stays a little bit more steady. And I think that's helping him, because you can see he's staying in his shape for longer, as opposed to thinking, I want to get forward every time. You can't do that, and he's learning that, and he's learning quickly.
No, massively. And good news for him as well, getting called up to that international side as well for the Ivory Coast as well. I think he's had 5 appearances so far, and obviously another couple of caps, fingers crossed, for him the next week or so as well. All helps with his game. Absolutely.
He's disappointed not to have played in the tournament, but then 2 great games for him. But that just shows you how well he's done. He's playing in the Premier League. Every game since he signed, he's played, and he's played very well in each of those games. And automatically, you know, the international team comes calling.
Certainly does. So brilliant to have Hassane on the show as well. Massive thank you to him for coming a little bit earlier on. And of course, the fans who got their questions in nice and early for him as well. As always, we'd love to hear from you on the show. Thank you so much for your comments so far. Posed 2 questions to you for tonight's show. Who would you like to see on Inside the Hive in the coming weeks? And of course, as well, what are you going to be getting up to in the international break? So let's kick off with that one. Barky Dog says, relaxing and watching the international football. Watford FC News _WFC says, waiting for Watford to play again. Don't forget, come and see the women play on Sunday. Paul Whitenbury says, wishing Watford had a game. And Charlotte Gibson says she's going to be watching some of the rugby as well. Tommy, your plan for the international break and no Watford matches?
I'll still find some football to watch, just to keep my eye in.
And get your paintbrush out.
That's all done.
I know you're about the digger now, aren't you? Tommy's all about the digger this weekend, so we'll see how big of a hole he can dig himself. Right, question number 2. What Watford stars, past and present, would you like to see on the show as well? Names we got in the mix here then. Cucho Hernandez, David James, Imran Louza, Moussa Sissoko again. I'm sure Moussa was good fun. We'll have him back on any time. Watford FC News says Troy Deeney, also got Cucho in there, Imran and Moussa. I'd like to see John Barnes on the show. One comment coming in. That'd be a good guest. Javi Gracia, Gianfranco Zola, A.D. Boothroyd, Rob Page, Haida Helgeson, Glenn Hodges, Luther Blissett and John Barnes. Some good suggestions there, Tommy.
Troy would be a good one. He can drive me down. Save me driving.
Exactly.
That'll be a bonus.
We'll get on it. Any guests you'd like to see on the show that we've not mentioned? Any of your former pals you'd like to get on?
Helga would be good. Be good to see H again. And Pagey, seen him briefly at Vicarage Road a couple of weeks ago, so it'd be nice to see him. He's doing really well.
That's sweet. Steve, that's your job. Steve, who does all the some great work behind the camera for us, getting all your questions and collating them all as in the media teams in charge of booking. So, challenge is over to you now, Steve. Right, lots of things coming your way then here at the club over the next few weeks. Don't forget season ticket renewals for next season, 22-23. I know it's only March, but we're thinking about the new season already. WatfordFC.com for more details on that. And of course, don't forget the Ukraine appeal at the moment. Of course, all of our thoughts here at the club with all the people of Ukraine. Some bits and pieces available in the club shop with all proceeds going to the Red Cross Disasters Emergencies appeal for the Ukrainian humanitarian appeal. ShopWatfordFC.com is where you can go to get your hands on those. Time now for another 60-second challenge. Tommy is still in 5th place. He's really conscious he doesn't want to lose this place on the 60-second challenge. This week's contender is Tom Stokes. He's our ePremier League player who's going to be representing Watford in the final. Let's see how he gets on.
Hi, I'm Tom Stokes and this is my 60-second challenge.
Football Manager or FIFA?
FIFA.
Favourite sport other than football?
NFL.
Childhood hero?
Wayne Rooney.
Team you supported as a kid?
Manchester United.
Most famous person on your phone?
Spencer Owen.
PlayStation or Xbox?
PlayStation.
30-yard screamer or solo goal?
Solo goal.
Morning person or night owl?
Night owl.
VAR, love it or hate it?
Hate it.
Coaching or pundit when you retire?
Coaching.
Ronaldo or Messi?
Ronaldo.
First car you owned?
Ford Fiesta.
Best stadium apart from Vicarage Road, of course?
Old Trafford.
Favourite holiday destination?
America.
Favourite food?
Italian.
iPhone or Android?
iPhone.
Favourite TV series?
24.
Favourite movie?
Oh, God. Literally blanked on movies first.
17 points puts him in 17th place. Come on, everyone knows favourite movie, Love Actually. It's your go-to answer, Tom, isn't it?
Everywhere you go.
Tommy's place is still intact on that one. More 60-second challenge, of course, coming on throughout the season for you. Let's reflect then. No game this weekend. Obviously, lots to talk through and obviously look forward to the games coming up in the Premier League. Obviously, some teams only have a handful of players left at the training ground. I guess that can be tough, not only for the management and coaching side, but also for the players as well, because it's not as much to do, I guess, with those players because they've gone away.
Yeah, it is. It's different because the energy in the dressing room is different, because you could argue some of your key characters in that dressing room are off playing for their national teams. So it is it's a strange time, and it can go very slowly. Obviously, I was never involved in the international group, so I was in the group that was left behind. You probably get to know the younger players, so the under 23 players now will step up and train with the first team players, and then you're also you're going to work hard during that time because you've got to work on your fitness levels still. the guys with internationals are playing games and training with that high intensity. You have to match that at the training ground. So there'll be more small-sided games, but like I said, you don't have that carrot dangling at the end of the week where you've got your match day. So yeah, you've got a full weekend. Might get it off. Some lads might be able to travel and get a little bit of rest after a hard week's training. But nevertheless, I'm sure that everybody will be looking for the results of their mates playing in the national teams.
Logistically, how much interaction will the club have with the players while they're away? Because obviously, if someone gets a knock or whatever, hopefully they don't. But the players are playing and they're involved in those training sessions. Is there interaction between the clubs and the international sides?
Sports scientists will be in contact with the national team sports scientists, and they'll be getting their data for their training load each day. And obviously in the games, they'll be monitored by, I would think, a member of staff from the football club. And they'll be going to watch those games and reporting back to the medical staff and the coaching staff on their reference levels for the games.
Yeah, massively. Of course, upsides always, if you've got players out with injuries, it's another couple of weeks to recover and get fit as well, I guess.
That's in an ideal world, yeah, you'll get them on the training ground more. And in the smaller sided games also, you can protect them by giving them free roles that gets them involved in a feel of the ball in a small sided game, which perhaps when you want a group of 25 players to have the intensity of a training session, you can't risk putting an injured player into that. But when it's a smaller group, you can certainly do that and increase their fitness levels quicker with small sided games.
When it comes to international duty, do you think some players maybe find that difficult in the sense of obviously playing for their club is their bread and butter, that's their focus is on the Premier League, but obviously playing for your country is a massive moment of pride and obviously international as well, but obviously there's lots of travel that comes with that as well. Did you ever hear stories of any players that were kind of not looking forward to going away to play for their country because their mind was on club football? Or
No, not at all. I think the pride in any professional footballer to play for their national country certainly suggests that they'll travel the whole world to get that cap, and I can understand that. So I don't think there's anything there. Like I said, I think it just shifts the focus of a player, and sometimes that's good. If you're at the top of the league, perhaps it's slightly different. It can be a little bit off-putting. But when you're in the position that the Watford players are at the moment, where they understand that every game is vitally important in the Premier League to maintain our status, then I think it can almost be a little bit of relief from that sustained pressure, and they can go. Certainly, Hassan Kamara is going to be delighted to be back in the Ivory Coast fold. So, it can change people's mentality for the space of what's probably 10 days they're away. It won't be for another 2 weeks that our national players will be back. So, yeah, it's a big break. Certainly, this one's different to most because obviously we haven't got the game because of Everton called off too. So it's a longer period. That might make it a little bit more difficult. But also, like you say, those injured players, I'm thinking of Ismaïla Sarr and one or two others might get back to full fitness a little bit quicker.
I guess positive as well, if they go away international duty, get some good wins under the belt, they were fellow internationals, come back, all guns blazing, ready for that game against Liverpool.
Absolutely, and why not? And it's a great game to come back, isn't it?
It certainly is. Tommy, thank you very much. Good to have you as always on the show. Massive thank you to all of you as well for your comments and thoughts on future guests and what you're going to be up to in that international break. Massive thank you to Adekite and of course Hassan for coming on the show. Don't forget, if you need your football fix this weekend, make sure you get yourself down here to Vicarage Road. 2 o'clock kickoff. The London City Lionesses taking on our Golden Girls. You won't want to miss it. Thanks for joining us and we'll see you next time.